I'm Gift Thongpia here from the 23 Home with Glen and Gift, powered by Keller Williams. And many buyer and seller, every day have been affected to coronavirus, as we all know. And a lot of people have been asking me, how is the market? I get that question all the time. So I want to bring in the expert, which is my partner, Glen from McLean Mortgage. He will be the best person to answer all the questions. What is you seeing on the market right now, Glen? Again, this is our first Zoom call, and we just try it out. And if it doesn't look like perfect, please forgive us. We are do our best now.
Yeah, thanks, Gift. Well, as far as the market goes, we've had a couple really rough weeks with everything that's going on. I mean, pales in comparison to what we're dealing with as a nation and the virus, but the market had really jumped up in interest rates for several reasons, but primarily because of capacity and liquidity issues. Last week, we started to see some normalization in the market, and it's continuing, thank goodness, into today, this week, and hopefully we'll have things start to stabilize a little bit more. As far as interest rates and products and things like that go, the challenge primarily has been on the high balance and the jumbo type products. Those are not as liquid as the lower balance and the government agency loans. So they've had some difficulty in pricing, and frankly, the investors haven't been as anxious to get a hold of those loans because they're bigger and have more risk. So, but we're starting to see a little stabilization today. 510,400 is the key number for loan amounts. Any under that,
again,
510,400 is the key number. That's the break point between what we call low balance and high balance loans. Anything under that, we as a company are still able to be very, very competitive. As a matter of fact, I locked a couple people this morning at 3.25 on those types of loans.
Wait, 3.25 on above 500 or below 500?
Below. 510,400 down is still very competitive on an interest rate. Above that, there are some challenges, and in jumbo, some very significant challenges. But in general, we're starting to see some stabilization. There are a million behind the scene things that are affecting the mortgage industry right now. The Fed is actively, even right now, meeting, discussing some of those cures. So we expect to see some of that out later today, maybe tomorrow, to help support the mortgage industry so we don't have a rerun of what happened in the last financial crisis with regard to the mortgage world, servicing and pricing and so forth. But pretty much business as usual. From a listing side, I would say all listing agents should really be careful about contracts that they accept, really talking to the listing agent, the buyer's agent and the buyer about credit scores, down payments, things like that. Some mortgage lenders across the country have eliminated some products. Not really sure what those reasons were behind their decision to do that, whether it was liquidity constraints or warehousing constraints. But McLean is plowing forward. We've had very little changes. I know that FHA pretty much across the board with most every lender I'm aware of is a minimum score of 660 now instead of some of the lower scores that used to be available. That's typically driven by warehouse and investor guidelines, not actually the lender. But
so you mean it's not much change from before coronavirus and here?
There has been some change. Little things are tightening, and day by day we're getting different things. Appraisals, pretty much, they're all asking for drive-by appraisals and things like that. That's another good point you brought up. If you have a listing that's under contract and they're about to do an appraisal, you want to make sure that you provide the lender with a very detailed package of pictures of the inside, a list of improvements and value that those improvements cost, so that the lender can get those to the appraiser. So if they are doing a drive-by appraisal, they can be sure to have a general idea of how it looks inside and some of the improvements, and maybe even a list of comparables to help support the value. The nature of the drive-by is, you know, it's still based on comparables, just like a normal appraisal would be, but you don't get the benefit of that extra maybe 5 or 10,000 that the house sold for without the appraiser seeing the inside, because they're really looking on comps and square footage. They'll have pictures of other comparables and your listing, but you want to make sure to provide them as much as possible to help protect the values with these drive-by appraisals that are happening.
So is a drive-by just the option, so they don't have to go inside the house because of the situation?
Yes, and that's what most every appraiser is asking for, because they don't want to go in either, and they know you don't want them in your home. So we're seeing a lot of that. Haven't had any issues with it so far yet. I've even had a desktop appraisal come in fine, but all depends on the property, just like with any appraisal.
So yeah, Glenn have some question. I can't see my screen. So Glenn, what do you say about that?
People are asking about, do you have any information on luxury?
Oh, about the luxury. So basically luxury, just what you mentioned earlier, right? In above $500,000 loan, that's considered high price or
high balance conforming.
Right.
Those are not pricing as well. I haven't priced one out today, but they have not normalized yet. So hopefully we'll see that happen over the next week or so.
Okay. So the good news is the market is still strong. I know it's not the same every spring that we used to have. Right now it's kind of like, you know, we take it day by day, see what happens. And what I've seen as a realtor side is I still see buyer looking to buy a home. Like I have an open house over the weekend. I see a serious buyer come through and they're looking to move. You know, people still have to move, right? At least it's either coming up or something happened to their life, they still need to move. But the good news is the interest rate is still pretty attractive to me right now.
Absolutely. And to your point, there are still a lot of buyers. We've had a housing inventory shortage for several years now. We're still having it. The good news is for a buyer, instead of there being 10 people they're competing with, now maybe it's only 1 or 2. So sort of balanced out the market a little bit. There's still buyers out there. I had 3 ratified contracts over the weekend with agents that I work with. So there's still buyers out there, and hopefully we'll chug along till this whole COVID-19 sort of relaxes a little bit and lets everybody breathe, and the markets normalize.
So let me summarize this. So the interest is still under 3.9 something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Low balance money. Yes.
Yes, and then nothing so much effect right now, simply because, you know, more opportunity for the buyer on the side, and it's good for the buyer to look out and do it now while people slow down, and then less competitive, right, for the buyer.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yes, and then for the seller, as Glenn just mentioned, I mean, I see the same thing on the market. It's still low inventory. It's not like every year spring that we used to have a lot of home come in on the market this time of the year, and the price is pretty high. So I feel like, you know, we still need more supply in order to have enough for demand. Understand a lot of people have effect and want to hold off. So it's your option, right? But if you do think about planning to move, think about what you're going to get right now, best time to get the best interest and lock into your home at the right home, that you don't have to compete so many people. So I would love to save this onto YouTube. If anyone missed our live today, again, this is our first time. So we're going to try to provide you valuable information, especially Glenn, he in the field, and he will know better on what happened to the market. Like, we're not going to talk about the stock market today. We just want to give you a snapshot of COVID had affected everybody's life, personal, professional. But how can we take it as an opportunity? It's up to us, right? And we just have to always looking at the positive way. What is my advantage right now? Why everything happened to the world? So we're here to provide you what you need to know. If you want to have a private call, just reach to me, reach out to Glen. We're here to support you, and we're gonna do that every week. And yeah, if you want to get a specific topic, we can share to you. But now, thank you so much, Glenn, for your time.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Happy to help. Yeah, just any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'll try to address them as best as I can. Thanks so much.
We'll see you guys again. And again, we will upload to YouTube. And then if any more, you can follow me on YouTube, and Glen will be there. My contact information will be there as well. See you guys.
Thanks.